this opportunity to be with you and to share with you the experience of Iraq in measuring the MPI. In Iraq, during the years 80s and 90s, and in spite that Iraq was under economic sanctions led by the UN from 1990 till 2003, and this had great impact on people and everything in the economy and the society, but the government was reluctant to declare that there is any poverty in the country. And they were proud that we are capable of feeding the people or making them living in good conditions and so on. But after 2003, Iraq was open again to the international community and to the international organizations. And the first attempt was with the World Bank to measure poverty in Iraq. And after conducting a household survey, which was postponed since 1993, that was the latest one, they started the household surveys again in 2006. And by 2009, it was possible to use the results of the survey to measure poverty. And of course, they measured the income poverty. And for the first time, Iraq was, in the bottom countries of the world in this measurement, as about 24% of population were under poverty line. This in spite of, there is a Russian system in Iraq which was started in 1990 when the sanctions was imposed, which provides a basket of food for every person. That accounts for around 1,300 calories, which would prevent, not poverty, but to prevent hunger, at least, to most of the people. Despite this, I mean, this was calculated in addition to the what the family expenditure of the family on food, plus this Russian system, and the level of poverty was high, in around 24%. But in some areas, this is not the inequality was clear in the poverty line between governorates of Iraq, which is equivalent to states or counties. We call them governorates. The system after 2003, the political system is a federal state. We are a federal state now. The northern area of Iraq, which has 3 governorates or states, is shaped as a region within this federal system, and the other governorates are linked to the central government or the federal state. In 2010, we were being introduced to the MPI through the Human Development Report, the global one, because Iraq was to start having a report, a Human Development Report in that year. And many people in the academia, in fact, started from the academia who at that time were aware of this new methodology. I was one of the people. The Ministry of Planning and the Central Statistical Office also was enthusiastic to do something different than the income poverty line. The UNDP in Iraq office, in fact, was behind the introduction of this methodology through a visit made by the Deputy Minister of Planning and the head of the Central Statistical Office, and I was with them to OFI. And we had the chance to get into the training course on the MPI. And in last September we came also as the team who is writing the Human Development Report, and I'm the lead author, with the statisticians in the Ministry of Planning who were also trained, and we showed our data, and Sabina and Mauricio, and John found it very, very rich. We have so much data from many surveys that are countable. We have the mix we have the IKN, we have the household surveys, and they are all up to date. I mean, 2011 and 2012. So they said, well, the resources are okay. And we discussed with them what indicators and what areas, and we came up with what I'm going to just show now in a very quick way, and then I have a few comments on how we are going to launch. Now, the dimensions we used: education, nutrition and health, standard of living, employment, which I didn't find in any of the experiences shown today or yesterday, and basic services. We have different, we have separated different basic services from standard of living and also employment. So these are, in our point of view, important within the context of the Iraqi state of economy at this moment. Illiteracy in education, we call it education and knowledge. We use the following indicators: illiteracy among male, illiteracy among female, and you can see there are quite different percentages. Among female is much higher. Just a comment that in 1975, Iraq was awarded a reward, or what is it, by the UNESCO for abolishing illiteracy in the country. We had a campaign for 3 years, and by 1975, we have really abolished illiteracy. But see what 13 years of sanctions and consequent wars, one after the other, 3 wars since 1980 have done to the society, not caring about the economy. What happened? Educational attainment, also by male and female. Sorry, there is a mistake here. So it is also, this is gender sensitive, and we find that primary education for female are deprived 30. Here, what we can read it. The other side is around 34% of female in the age of education are deprived of education. This is what it reads. And for boys, it is 19, which is still very high, because in 1989, 98.9% of children in the age of primary school were attending the school. This is, so we're going backward. And drinking water and sanitations, these are the indicators used for basic services. Electricity is important because we don't have electricity from a national grid since 1991. So what we have is a few hours per day only, and people depend on generators, either private if they can afford, or in each area locally, somebody who invests in this kind of investment, and he provides electricity to the neighborhood with certain cost, which is very high, and it affects the level of living for each family, because it cuts about 1/3 at least from the income. Standard of living is measured by indicators like income and housing and crowding, which is how many people live in one house, how many families in one house, how many people in just one room. In health and nutrition, the indicators allowed by data was the balanced diet, calorie intake, and the quality of health service, which indicated by how distant the health service is from the homes of the people, and how do people evaluate the health system which is provided for them. So it seems very bad, and almost 40% of them say it was bad. The employment, and of course, is measured by unemployment among female and among male, which is high. Also, underemployment, because we have a survey, employment and underemployment. So we use those. For the job, it was important for us to follow those who are employed. Are they in a secure job or not? Because people among the poor areas usually don't have a permanent or a secure job. They usually get a chance to do just something and get paid for it for the day or for the week. So this is, we thought, is an important indicator that indicates how secure the family is. And we found that 40% of male job are unsecured, 40% of them. Now, the deprivation head counts looks like, I think most of the presentations we saw yesterday follow this graph. The highest percentage was for the indicator unprotected job for male, and poor health services, and then primary education among female, and so on. What is more important is the households that face multiple deprivation. The number of deprivation is not so bad. Actually, this curve is not that bad. Only 4.7% of people of Iraq, they don't suffer any kind of deprivation, but 12.7% suffer from one deprivation, 18% of the population suffer from 2, 17% from 3, which is not bad. I mean, it's getting down as much as you have more deprivations. Well, these are the dimensions and the weights are giving, which is of course followed. This is the setting the values. These are the counting. Here is the map of Iraq at the governorate level. Well, the worst are those, the darkest area. The 4 governorates of the south of Iraq, which have the most reserve of oil in Iraq. This Maysan is the highest, it's called Maysan. 30% of population are deprived of almost maybe every dimension. But still it is the richest area, and like what you just Rinaldo said about Mina, it's a rich county, but the people are poor. Now the component of this multi-dimensional poverty is as follows, which I think is important, that income constitutes 17%, primary education among female 9%. These indicators, how much or what is the percentage of their contribution to the MPI. Poor health services 7%, electricity 7%, water, and so on. This we're going to use in policy when we go further. By geography, I mean by states, we have the worst MPI and also a rich governorate called Mosul in the north, which has oil, and then in the south, Liqar and Basra, who have also oil. But there is a diversity, a very, very unequal among population. So, there is a comparison also in this figure. Neither MP poor nor a low income poor, which is 3% only, and low income poor, but not MPI poor, is this purple one, 10%. The multiple dimension poverty poor, but not the low income poor. I mean, I think it's clear, the colors and the indications. So, in terms of MPI, the situation, the poverty situation in Iraq is not as bad as the income poverty line as. What I want to comment now is there is a kind of among the government body who has committed with the World Bank that they will recalculate the poverty line every 4 years, which is the survey of the household survey, which is every 4 years, and then they will discount. And then, as we are also every 2 years, we have the Human Development Report, and we insist on calculating or measuring poverty by the MPI methodology. So these results were introduced to the ministers, 2 or 3 ministers in a high committee. We have, it's called the Poverty High Committee in Iran, or Poverty Elevation High Committee for Poverty Elevation. We introduced this presentation and they were not happy with it. They thought this is, well, this will not be consistent to what the poverty line was in 2007. But others says, no, this is better because it shows less percentages of poverty among people. However, what we are going to use this poverty, the MPI, is that there is an article in the Constitution which was launched in 2005, the new Constitution. This article says that the resources of the country, of course, it is oil money. We don't have any agriculture or any participation contribution to the GDP. It's 95% of GDP is oil now. So the resources of the country are distributed among governorates according to the population of each governorate, plus the level of deprivation among the people of that governorate. That's why, because it says, the same article, it says that because some governorates were deprived of the public resources in the past regime for political reasons. So the new regime will then compensate those governorates according to the population. This is the one area which the MPI is going to use for. And they are waiting for the outcome of this calculation, this measurement, and then so they can build the new budget, annual budget, according to the level of deprivation in each governorate. This is one. The second important thing is that Iraq is, as a federal state, is going to very fast to decentralize the administrative system and even the economy. Decentralization is in process. And each governorate now have its own governorate council, which is elected every 4 years. And there is a new governor in every 4 years also. And lately, the central government now passed a lot of, or authorized the governor with many financial authorities to use the allocations without referring to the central government. So this also something would be a very helpful tool to the governorate council and the governor of each governorate to allocate money and to also ask the central government to get money transfer from the national budget, which is done every. There is also another source for them, which is a supplement to the national and regional budget, which is, they call it the petrodollar. Each governorate that has oil, either produce oil or export oil, they get $1 for each barrel and when it is about $2.5 million a day, so the $1 is something. So this is also in the hands of the Governorate Council, and they can do a lot with it if they know what to do. I mean, if there is something in front of them, like a map or a guide to say that, look, your governorate needs, like the presentation which are done by the Chinese government. That was very nice. I think we're going to copy this. In each governorate, what we need is drinking water, what we need is education, and this will be a tool or a guide in the hands of the council or the governor to allocate this money, which is plenty of money, which has been wasted, and they don't know how to invest it or how to, with the case that the poverty is spreading among population. Thank you very much.